Hello, my friends. How are you? It is good to see you again. It has been a few months. I hope you all are feeling amazing. Hope you are authoring the lives of your dreams, because this is a dream of a holographic universe, this holographic forms of light that we perceive as matter. And playing this game of moving through time and space, the illusion of separation that one infinite creator wants to play, because peace and bliss all the time is boring. So let's have fun and play a game of separation, right? So what we're doing is a little crystal that I found the other day, just on the ground in the dirt right where I was parked. It's just really beautiful, and I was thinking it's just like someone placed it there for me to just uncover. So that was really fun. I've been doing a lot of artwork as of late, and this is the one that really got polished yesterday. And you know, for me, playing with shapes and seeing what emerges and what my beingness like craves to draw, like what I really yearn to draw, and I'll find myself drawing it until I like really do it. I'll be called over and over again. So this is one of those types of things where just finding these relationships between circles and squares in these patterns. And so I've been having fun with that and wanting to sort of document it as it shifts, because sometimes you add a layer and it will shift the drawing completely. So what do you all like to do? Hope you've been doing plenty of it and having fun in your lives. So I wanted to share a story with you all today, and I've been learning a lot from Tom Bearden. I've read some of his work here on this channel prior, and I'm deep diving even more, ever more, really, really profound stuff, and that I'm looking forward to sharing with you all at the right time. But he gives some really important context. So I want to share this story that he shares and has shared many times, to just give everyone a sense of where we're at in terms of science here in America in particular. So James Clerk Maxwell published his first theory, his first paper in 1864. It was actually the time of the Civil War, and it was very profound. It was more profound even than he knew at the time. He had actually developed an experimental theory for gravity, and he himself had been inspired by Faraday's work and was developing equations to describe Faraday's work. So, we all stand on the shoulders of giants, as they say. So James Clerk Maxwell published his first paper in 1864, and these equations, called Maxwell's equations, include an aspect called a quaternion, Quaternion, quaternion. And this quaternion is the scalar vector component. So it's working with vectors, but this quaternion aspect, you'll have your vectors, and then you have the quaternion, the scalar vector component, that is in these equations, and a lot of times will balance to zero. And now, a man named Oliver Heaviside was a huge fan of Maxwell's work, but he did not understand the quaternions. Quaternions are very hard to do calculations with. It's very complex mathematically to work with, and he couldn't stand them because he didn't understand that. He didn't understand them, so he couldn't stand them, partially because he didn't understand them. and he basically just cut them out. He just wanted to eradicate them. He thought that he did not like them. He didn't think they were a good part of Maxwell's work. So he butchered them out. And at the time, there was only about 30 or 40 people studying this type of work. And there was a very short debate And there was the quaternionists who said, hey, it's not going to be accurate if you take the quaternion out, and this is a key aspect. And you have the vectorists who said, yeah, but we can out-calculate you all day long. And the vectorists won out. But this was very brutal action to be taken, because it's literally, and that was like since 1900, the quaternion has not been taught. And what's being taught as physics in universities today in America and many other places, I imagine, is Heaviside's version of Maxwell's equations. And it's taught as Maxwell's theory. It's not accurate. It's a butchered version. And this scalar vector component is so crucial to understanding quantum action at a distance, quantum entanglement. Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Now here's another key fact. Einstein himself was taught Heaviside's versions of Maxwell's equations. Einstein was stumped when he died because he didn't have the whole truth. So it's really interesting piecing together history of how we got to now and why we've been so stunted in our educational systems in terms of developing things such as anti-gravity, which Bearden also just talks about. So anyone interested in anti-gravity, I highly recommend you go into his work. But these are things that Tesla, this is wisdom that's been here for over 100 years now, at least. So we're a lot of times just catching up with what we already know. And it's kind of a relief, actually, I'd say. Yeah, so I wanted to share that story with you all. But the good news is then we know where we're at. It's sort of like if we're lost in the jungle or something, and we find a map and we're like, oh my gosh, look, we were on the trail and we got way off over here. It doesn't matter if you're miles away from the trail, you at least know where you're at and you have a way to get back to the trail, right? So I think this is really great news, because if we don't know where we're at and we think Maxwell's theory is complete as it's being taught, when it is not. It is not Maxwell's theory, even if it's called that. We've got to go straight to the root, straight to the source. So I'm determined to dig deeper into these things. I hope you all, some of you watching might be anyway. I have another work of art that's just been very joyful. Taking the sacred geometry and sort of this, rigorous, specific, accurate lines of just circles, and then working with the curves and the organic shapes, and building this little tree here and a star and the fire and the raindrops, and so these elemental energies coming through. So I'm looking forward to developing that more. I did have a really wonderful conversation with a man named Brady Carson, and you can find him on Instagram. Yeah, Brady Carson, and he is doing a book on the science behind churches and cathedrals and temples and how they are healing devices. These things were built as healing devices. So he had sketched out this curve and this curve and this curve and this curve, and then I think the two larger curves here. And then he sent me that drawing, and these are dimensions of an actual Mary Dixon Chapel in Lititz, Pennsylvania. And the length, which he mapped all this out, 777 feet, and the width is 388.5 feet, exactly half. And then I added more circles and to fill in more of the curves. And when I sent it to him, he said that it brought insight, and I want to check with him to confirm exactly which intersections, but he said that it seemed that some of these intersecting lines that I added lined up with the locations of windows in the chapel. So this was really, really an enlightening drawing to do. Very profound, very divine, just very beautiful experience. So, and then you see this is the top of the church, I suppose, where the altar would be. And you could see these lines as sort of energetic pathways and how would the energy move, and maybe sort of have a cozy little nest here, this part of the building, where the building's cut out here at the top. So anyway, now I'd love to visit that chapel, actually. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. I just got a wonderful donation from my friend for gas that's going to power me to go to Taos. And I have a friend there that is working with something called a rocket retort. I don't know a lot about it. I know it is working with vortex action, and it has the capability of generating heat and cooling and fuel, and has, I'm pretty sure, basically water vapor is the emission. So this way we can basically turn trash into fuel, and my friend is doing it, so I'm looking forward to visiting him and hoping to be able to document it and learn how to build one and be able to share it with you all and whoever's interested in this sort of thing. But I've met a lot of people that are working with this technology, and for me it's a rare treat to have someone willing to show it and explain how it works. And I'm really, really delighted whenever I find someone like that. And so yeah, and then my friend Molly, who just gave that wonderful, delightful $100 donation to give me the extra gas money, because my long-term trajectory is to go to Colorado, but this is going to be a nice little side detour, worthwhile journey. So thank you, Molly, for that so much. And if anyone does want to support this journey, you can find my Venmo at, it's Hanna in the Light, HANNAINTHELIGHT. And my full email is hannainthelight@proton.me, PROTON.me, if anyone wants to reach out. And yeah, I do love hearing from folks, especially folks that want to be a part of this. Sustainable building is something I'm getting very serious about entering into, and to ultimately be able to build beautiful structures in alignment with the sacred geometry. So I have a few modalities, building practices, building philosophies, you could say, in particular, that I'm drawn to learn and do, and we can all help each other build one another's houses and live in community together, and build structures that are healing to the earth and healing to the people inside, and that are in harmony with the earth, and they enhance the environment, and that it's very clear that they enhance the environment, and that it's done in harmony with our beautiful, wonderful parent planet here, this big spaceship that we're flying around the sun. Okay, so much love to you all. So good to see you all again. And yeah, what's new with you? Share in the comments. Send me an email. I've been in nature for months at a time and doing some deep retreat, internal work. But you could say I'm emerging. So yeah. All right. So much love. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.